Morning. Let's make some money today. That's what I'm talking about. That is the goal at hand. That is the goal at hand. Hope you all had a good day yesterday. Good morning, Star. Star, was it you that was in Joby yesterday? Good morning, Caleb. Caleb, PLTR. Looked at it for you already. Looking good. They had earnings. I believe they had earnings this morning, if I'm not mistaken. Like Caleb's gonna come in here and ask about PLTR. I added you to my little morning ritual, Caleb. So they had a nice, I think 170 spike this morning or something like that, and it was 11. Okay, they had earnings this morning, and they're holding their $20-21 mark. Good morning, organically. When I look at it, like when I know you guys are playing in a stock or you guys are in something, like a lot of times I go back and I'm checking on it, seeing what's happened, or awesome. Welcome. I saw this one. I was like, okay, let's gonna be happy. Yeah, 171, 170s this morning. Exciting. Good, good, good. Organically, thank you so much for the daily heart me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for contributing towards the daily heart me goal today. As always, I hope you in return are able to remain profitable. So thank you for the rose. I greatly appreciate it. I read some stuff this morning that they're predicting is gonna pass. They're trying to see who's gonna beat who. So that'll probably be the talks for the next few weeks. We'll see. Um, I don't know. I didn't look at it into that deep. To be honest with you. Good morning, Lawson. I didn't look at it that deep, Caleb. To be honest with you, to kind of give you like a breakdown of my. That's more like long term. Good morning, user. But they're both two pretty solid companies. I'll say that they're both two pretty solid companies. So I'll rock with that. But if I didn't look into anything like into detail, then I won't speak on it for me. Um, I haven't looked into it like into depth like that to like weigh the difference between the two. But I'll say they're both two solid companies. Hey, good morning, Hondo. Thank you so much for coming in. Happy Tuesday. How do I find my stocks? I do research. Well, not 5-ish in the morning doing research, seeing what's popping, why it's popping. I read art. I do a lot of reading before I come on. I'm reading. I'm looking into details. I like. I tell them all the time. I'm the actual finance major. I actually have a degree in finance, so I like to see the numbers, see the value in the company, what they're planning to do. So it's a lot of details for me. A lot of times you hear me say, "Hey, I can't find any numbers. This doesn't interest me. I don't find any numbers." So a lot of times, the numbers do tell me a lot in the chart. Hmm? I know it's odd as that sounds. Good morning, guys. It is 8:40. Thank you for coming in and rocking with your girl. If you guys are able to help me out and hit that share button, let's get some people in here so we can go ahead and go over our list for this morning and see what we are rocking and rolling with. ACTI is still our little friend. A lot of us still hanging on the ACTI, see what it's gonna do. I know I do have scanners and I do have like paid subscriptions and things of that sort that I do have. I don't throw names out there because I don't have any bindings with any of these people or anything of that sort. But I try to share as much information as I can without placing myself in a pickle. I tell them all the time I'm not gonna be rubbing my two nickels together to make a dollar, and then I kind of place myself in a situation. But if I ever have clearance for clear, whatever, then it's all yours. But I do try to share as much as I can without placing myself in a bind, if that makes sense at all. But I tell them all the time, hanging around here and enjoy the free information that I can give you. Hopefully, it's good enough. You're welcome. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. All right, we about to be rocking and rolling, guys. Let's see what exactly these AI stocks. Yeah, AI stocks are usually good. A lot of things is shifting to. We'll talk about that after we go on this. Let's go over our list and then we'll talk AI talk and do all that. We'll have side conversations. Those that hit the share button and shared a lot, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for helping me out with that. We're about to go ahead and get started and go over our list and see. You got to go to the dentist. Have a good. Um, awesome. Thank you for coming in. So let's see. No, we're. All right, so let's see what exactly we're looking at today. We're gonna be rocking and rolling. See what we got going today. So SMTX, SMXT. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Kayla. SMXT. I like SMXT. SMXT has $127 million contract that they were awarded. Their contract is basically for battery storage projects. They will be responsible for the full completion of this project in Texas. What does that mean? They have to plan it, execute it, and make sure that it comes to completion. Um, it's $127 million. That's why they got that nice pop this morning. I like SMXT. Definitely want to see what that one's going to do as the morning continues. So definitely one that is on my list to see what exactly that's going to do. AIP, next generation AI chip. So they're assumingly designing a next generation AI chip. That's why they got their solid pop. In reference to that's why I was like, okay, that we're gonna talk about it, but the whole AI thing chips. So that's why they got their solid pop. With AIP, definitely want to see what that one's going to as the. I will change the bottom. STTK got $103 million offering, right? 100. I'm so sorry. They got $103 million private placement, right? So with $103 million private placement, they have a warranted price of $1.08, a little over $1.08, $1.08 and dots, whatever. Almost at 109, right? So with that, their price point is right around $1.08, kind of a cap for it right now, right? So what does that mean? That means that if they wanted to buy it within that, $1 million private, $103 million private placement, if they wanted to buy a stock, let's say the stock was at $2, they would buy it at $1.08, and essentially that private placement would bank whatever is in between, essentially. So more than likely they'll try to keep the price point right around that 108 mark ish to with that whole stock thing, if that makes sense. So that's why you see it got that pop right around that 108 mark, and then it's just kind of been hanging around. It'll probably hang around the dollar mark and kind of fluctuate back and forth between. Good morning, Jerry. Thank you so much for coming in. Happy Tuesday. So that's why that one got that pop there. STAA. STAA is going to purchase they're purchasing another company for $1 billion, I believe it is, at a price point of around $28 a share. And that's why they got a solid pop to about 28, right around, right under 28. I think they got to like 28.70 or 28.80 this morning. And then they just kind of been balancing out. It's lost a lot of volume, as you can see. It didn't really have nothing really going. It just had a pop or something. But it was just because of a buyout of the buyout, I believe, worth $1.5 million or so, at about 28 bucks or so. So that's why they got their pop there. Um, this one got a pop. Nothing. I don't believe I found news opening. RUBI had a pop. We had news. I don't know where I put it though. I'm gonna come back. CSTL is a earnings. They had earnings this morning, so that's why they got their pop. PRIM had earnings this morning, so that's why they had their pop. AMRC also had earnings this morning. That's why they got their pop. Elizabeth, good morning. Thank you for coming in. Gary, thank you so much for sharing the live. I appreciate it. AMRC had earnings, so that's why they got their pop this morning. OPAD also had earnings. That's why they had their pop. I'm sorry, I was reading something. That's why they also had their pop this morning. PLTR got earnings this morning. PLTR was more for Kayla. But they got earnings this morning. Got a nice solid pop to the 170s. I know the past week or so they've been hanging around like the mid 150s, 160s. So they got a whole $10 pop this morning. So nice earnings report. We spoke about SM, AUUD. They have a non-binding letter of intent. So that's why they got a little pop this morning. Nothing too crazy. Everything that they kind of gave a pop, they kind of gave most of it back already. But just to kind of keep an eye on it and see what exactly that one is going to do. PSTV. Didn't have any news. Was actually one that we played a few days ago. It just had a slight pop. I just want to see if it's going to pick up any volume as the day goes on. These are our little friends from yesterday. I know I like to keep friends from the day before to see if they're going to do anything to try to kind of rock and roll with them. So these are our little friends from yesterday. VERB, SC, SCS, INMB, BTBD, CSI. JOBY had our earnings, and it's also our little friend from yesterday. They had an earnings report also come out this morning. Their earnings report said that they lost less than they expected to lose, so that's why they got their spike. And then BTAI, BTAI had a nice pop yesterday after I left actually. And I'll go over it. We can talk about BTAI a little bit. Its charting was pretty decent. I looked at the prices. So yeah, so a few stocks this morning. We got a few options. Not too crazy. I felt like the same thing the past few days. Well, yesterday and then some of last week also started off kind of light, right? Nothing, no crazy volume, nothing racing or doing anything too crazy. Um, but we definitely have a few options to see what exactly is going on. 11. Good morning. Slow and steady wins the race. Definitely. We're looking for slow and steady. 11, good morning. 11, you were in, was it you? I can't remember. If it's not you, my apologies. Was it you that was in JOBY? Good morning, let's go. They had earnings this morning. They're hanging around that $21 mark. Like somebody was in it. I thought it was Star. Star said it wasn't her. I was like, maybe it's 11. You got out over 20? Awesome. Came out green. Good. Yeah, but they had earnings this morning. They had them a little pop. They're trying to hold themselves together here. Good morning, SG. How are you? I'm well, thank you for asking. All right, give me 1 second. Let me scan real quick. Make sure that we are all set and done. I didn't have anything. That one. I want to say majority of everybody came out great yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Yesterday turned out it was slow but steady. Yesterday turned out to be decent. I think everybody came out green yesterday, from what I recall. Um, but I know some people didn't play yesterday because it was kind of a slow and steady, race. Um, it was a slow and steady race. IPO. Let's go. After hours getting it. Um, Lawson, what company is the IPO for? Or yeah, BTAI did exactly what I was looking forward to. Um, what I wanted it to do essentially. BTAI did exactly what I wanted it to do yesterday, right? But of course, after I left, my mark for BTAI was for BTAI to re-break one. Where is it? Good morning, Derek. I'm gonna switch to one screen so we can talk about BTAI, right? So BTAI, and this is another reason why, like, even if I don't play the stock, like, oftentimes I take time, I go back and I look at, what did the stock do? Was my predictions correct? Did I have, my thoughts that I had on it? Was it good? Was I wrong? Did the stock do something completely different? It would, so that's why I tell you guys, charting is important. Learning and going back and reviewing. I go back and I review, was my train of thought, did these lines hold up? Did they do anything at all? So that is also part of my morning, or late at night. I kind of do that also. But anyway, BTAI. If you guys remember BTAI, we had these lines here for BTAI, right? So let's go BTAI like yesterday pre-market, right? Yesterday pre-market BTAI, right around here, and BTAI came down to the 160 whatever crack. And I said, hey, I want to get in BTAI at the one. I wanted to re-break 170, so like 170. I think I told you guys accidentally I had a mark at 170, but I never got filled. And then I did move it up slightly a little bit to try to get filled at above 170, like 172 ish, 170. I have marks there. Kind of get filled for BTAI, but BTAI would not break that 170 mark. It never broke that 170 mark, right? BTAI finally broke that 170 mark right around here after I left, like 11:15, 11:30. BTAI broke 170 right here, and it never really cracked this 170 line again. It continued to go like that 170 wall. I knew once it broke that 170 wall for me, it was, it would have been a nice little ride. But it's just that I wasn't there. I wasn't there for the ride. But it broke 170. It bounced off of 170 twice here. Um, it bounced off of 170 twice here and continued to go. So BTAI did what I wanted it to do. It's just that I wasn't in my timing was not aligned with BTAI. But definitely want to look at it today and see what what they're gonna do. Maybe find an opportunity to kind of get in. Probably won't be the 170s. Since it's really trying to hold $2 to 225 here. Good morning, SG. Um, but BTAI it did what it was supposed to do yesterday. It was just slow. It was real slow in the beginning. And then it had a hard time breaking that 170. It finally broke 170. Like I left and it was like, oh, not gonna play anymore. And 170, and it's been holding above 170 since then. But either way, I was able to cut my grain yesterday. I did my thing on another stock, but that was a play that I was looking for. It was a break of 170 on I actually did it and kind of kept going. Good job for those that was able to cut my grain on it. I played the long game and rocked with that one. But your girl was done. Yeah, it did a nice slow climb. It got stuck at 167. I kept checking on it. The whole time I'm playing BTBD, the whole time I'm playing CASI, I kept checking on BT. I had BTI on my screen all morning yesterday. It was on my top screen all morning. Um, but it didn't do what I wanted it to do at the time that I wanted. It did it after. STTK, what STTK had? STTK had a 103 million dollar private placement. So they have $103 million private placement. But the only thing with $103 million private placement is that they have a price warning of $1.08. So the likelihood, not that it's impossible, not that it's impossible, but the likelihood for it to hold way above the $1.08 is not too much. But that's why they got their pop. STTK is $103 private placement at a dollar and eight. Did who get news? Derek. Good morning, Taz. Thank you so much for sharing the live. I appreciate it. Let's go score. I like SMXT. They got what $127 million contract for the whole battery thing in Texas. So that is one that's on my list for today. A good job going in. I was on the edge of on going in on that one too, but I didn't go in during pre market. But SMXT good play. Or said early bird getting a worm. I can this thing up here so we could be good to go. LOBO? No, I don't think I looked at LOBO. I think we played LOBO last week sometime, if I'm not mistaken. I can take a look at it real quick. Give me 1 second.